I personally feel that Black History Month, it's a good month to remember, recognize, but we should really carry it through every month,
Yeah.
particularly the times we're in where it's just very complex now and a little controversial and people, it's under attack, so to speak. What's up? We're here back for another mini episode. Today we have an interesting topic we're going to talk about. What's the topic today, Mandy?
Black History Month, Amani.
Yes. Yes. Where shall we begin? What do you want to know? What should we talk about first?
Okay, well, so a couple things. A couple podcasts ago, we were talking about what are we looking forward to in February. And you said, well, Black History Month is coming up. And then I forgot about it. And then I was listening to an episode where you mentioned that. And I was like, you know what? Like, I'm crazy about Women's Day in March and Labor Day and Veterans Day and all these other days. I don't really know much about Black History Month. I don't
Mhm.
celebrate as a white woman. I don't celebrate it, but I don't think it's exclusive to just African Americans. I think we
True.
all we all
Correct.
can and should consider celebrating it. So it was just something I thought like on my mind, like I don't know, like what should I know, what shouldn't I know? So like I
Right.
did a little background research, but I'm just curious for you, like when you said Black History Month is coming up, like what does that mean
Right.
for you?
Well,
And what?
usually,
Yeah,
during Black History Month, there's an increased focus on contributions and things that have been created, things that are currently going on that are kind of at the center of African American culture. I personally feel that Black History Month is every month. And so, it's not just whittled down to one month, but this is the month that is focused on. Of course, it's the shortest month of the year, which is kind of ironic. And so I think in a day and age where so many things are being taken away, whether it be exhibits taken out of museums or things redacted, I just think that it's a good month to remember, recognize, but we should really carry it through every month,
yeah.
particularly the times we're in where things, you know, and I don't have any specific examples. It's just that so many museums are, it's just very complex now and a little controversial and people, it's under attack, so to speak. So
Yeah.
that's kind of my perspective. How about you?
Well, you just said something that brought up like three different unrelated things in my brain. So I'm just going to give a little word salad on it. It's like you just said, and as you were talking before, you said it shouldn't just be Black History Month. We should celebrate all year round. I was thinking in my head, like, this feels a little bit like Valentine's Day to me. Like, why are we just like loving our partners on Valentine's Day? Like, why aren't we loving them all year round or whatever? Like, do we need, like, for example, I'm from Ohio, and in Ohio, that third Saturday in Ohio is called Sweetest Day, which is a Hallmark
Oh,
holiday. We
mhm.
know why it was created, right? Like it was created to drive revenue to Hallmark brand, which is fine. Like Hallmark deserves it. They bring a lot of love in the world. But like no other state, I don't think, you might fact check this, has Sweetest Day. So I was always like begrudgingly celebrating Sweetest Day. Like, oh, now like if I don't get something on Sweetest Day, am I like a loser? And then so when you were saying that, it was reminding me of all those holidays where I was like, well, why aren't we considering this all year round? And then it took me to a place where I don't know, it was probably like 7 or 8 years ago. And I was being considered as a panelist for something. And I asked who the other panelists were, and they were all people my age, and they were all people my level, and they were all white. And I remember thinking, like, this doesn't feel very diverse. Not that like it should be diverse, like I'm doing air quotes if you're listening, but like it just feels like the panel, like the voices, there should be more voices. So I'm like,
Yes.
ever since then, I've always been, and I know you and I have served on committees together where I'm like, okay, panel wise, do we have white, black, brown, yellow? Do we have young, old? Do we have women? Do we have men? Do we like what? And then from a marketing standpoint, what does this panel look like? Like, is
Hmm.
everybody represented? Are all the voices represented? And not just to check a box, but like
Right.
truly for that content. Like, if
Right.
I'm a young Asian girl in the audience and I see an Asian female executive, that's
Yes.
going to resonate with me a lot more than
Yes.
a whole bunch of like black guys or white guys or whatever that is. So, like,
Mhm.
as you were talking, it was just reminding me of cultivating and curating leadership boards and panels and advisory boards and just being thoughtful and intentional about it. And it's not just for 1 month, it's like
Right.
the
Right.
practice of it year
Hmm.
round, as you were just saying that. That's kind of what came to mind for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like panels, boards, leadership should reflect the community. It should have different groups and different demographics of people, resonate with different demographics of people, and it should just reflect the world we live in.
Yeah.
And but to go back to Black History Month, like that's just kind of my feelings. So I love, I was just on a Black Author Expo panel last weekend. So that's good to celebrate and do events, but really, it should be a year-round celebration. So whereas I love the month and I'm very proud to celebrate and to participate, we have to do more to make it a more year-round celebration.
Okay, hear you. And in hearing you on that, let's pretend this is the kickoff to
Hmm.
celebrating year round, right? So, what can we actively do starting today and do this year round to support the work of African American artists and executives and people that we're involved with? Like,
I
what?
think just, we try to practice that here on the podcast where we have a diverse group of guests and just
Mhm.
highlight things and people that are influential that might not get their typical shine. um, invite people to the conversation, highlight great work that's being done, and celebrate some work that's being done that we're still reaping the benefits from.
Yeah. Is there any work out there that's being done that you're like you really think more people should know about? Aside from your book, aside from The Quiet Storm,
Right,
your book
right, right.
celebrating your year anniversary this
Yeah,
week, by the
Wednesday.
way.
Yes, this
Yeah.
Wednesday the 18th.
Yeah.
I'm biased, but I'm really a big fan of like Crystal Washington, who we had as a guest, and she's a
Mhm.
futurist. I think she's like well ahead of her time. People like that, Will Moreland, people we've had on the show. Um,
Oh, Larry
even
Long. Larry Long was
Yes,
fun.
yes, yes,
Yeah, like go back. I think that's a
yeah.
good suggestion. Like if you want to dip your toe in the water, go back to the YouTube channel and go
Mhm.
seek out Crystal Washington, um, it's Will Moreland,
Will
right?
Moreland, Dr.
Will
Will, yes.
Moreland and
Larry Long
Larry
Jr.
Long.
Yeah.
Just go back and listen to those. And
Yeah.
then who else? There's another woman that I love that
We had
she's a
Talisa
friend.
on the show. We had Talisa on the
Yes.
show. We had
Talisa
Tess Ismail
Villa.
on the show. So just
Yes.
there's tons. I try to do that. We need to continue to bring these stories to light, celebrate them, learn, and make it so it's a year-round celebration.
Hmm.
But we try to do a good job of that, having good balance, which I think we do. So I'm proud of that.
Yeah.
Um, that's kind of what we can do. And then if there's any new people out there that we're unaware of, we love for our guests and our audience, our community to share those people with us because we need to learn. We need to meet everyone. We don't know everyone. So we're down to meet as many people as possible.
Yeah, I love that. I actually put into AI, I used Claude, and the prompt that I used and prepped for this show today was as a white middle-aged woman, how can I celebrate and support Black History Month? And here's what it told me. And listen, this isn't rocket science, but it was a good reminder for me. And then it made me think of something else too. So it says, learn and educate yourself, read books by Black authors, watch documentaries about Black history, explore topics that you're less familiar with, whether it's the Harlem Renaissance, the Civil Rights movement, or the contemporary Black experiences. I thought that was interesting because, like, I'm so deeply aware of like women's rights, but
Hmm.
I do not know much about a lot of the civil rights. And I know
Yeah.
the civil and Black and women's rights can be very intermingled, but there's
Yeah.
there's a lot more nuance to it than I know, right? So I thought
Yeah.
that was good. And then amplify Black voices. So,
That's
whether
what we do.
that's, yeah, artists, writers, educators, we're
Mhm.
always doing that. Support Black owned businesses, which, not that I don't do, I don't think I do that intentionally. I'm always trying to support local
Yes.
businesses,
Yes.
And some are black or white or women or brown or whatever that is. But I think that's just good to know. And it reminds me of when the Obamas moved into the White House for the first time, and they looked at all the art, and they were like, none of this art really represents us, like even our family. And they really did a good job at like seeking out up and
Mhm.
coming artists and seeking out classic African American artists. And they put art up in the White House to where it was educating people. So I think like not all of us are going to be the president of the United States, but like
Right.
when you have a platform and you can share like we do, or even like in your team at work. And I think it's just a good reminder, not even just with Black History Month, but with like everything, like ask like, who are you reading? Who are your favorite artists? Where do you shop? Like it's just it helps broaden everybody's perspective. Those are
Yeah,
what the prompts brought to me when
that's
I
good.
looked it up.
When's the next time you're going on a sales trip to DC?
I don't know. I'm not.
Well, the
I
next
don't
time you
have it on
go,
my planner.
I'd suggest you try to arrange some time to go to the Black History Museum that's there. Phenomenal museum.
Okay.
And try to go there and go through it. It take you about 3 hours. That's one homework assignment I'll give to you. And then come
Okay.
back and let us know what you think. And I'm sure you'll have some interesting thoughts.
Okay. I love that. Now I want to ask you, what is something that you wish I understood more about being African American?
Hmm. I would say, ooh, that's a very, very layered question.
Give it to me straight, Amani. I can handle
Yeah.
it.
Maybe just I'd say like history in terms of there's a saying out there where you have to be twice as good to get half as far.
Mm,
Okay. And so just understand that more. And I can give you information and articles to read. That's like a real thing. And then microaggressions, which comes up a lot or whatever, people's fears, because the goal is for people just to look at African Americans as normal people and not to be uh, not to stereotype people. And so just kind of understand how those things happen. And those would be the two that would come to mind. I might have to come back to with 3 and 4, but those are the two that come to mind. That's a great question. That's a great, great question. Um, and then in terms of like today's climate and environment where we live in, just how certain laws that are being passed that are not I'll say fair for Black and brown people. So that's
mm,
that would be number 3 that comes up, because there's certain laws that are being passed that are a direct attack on Black and brown people, minorities. And
hmm.
so that's good to educate yourself on as a white middle-aged woman, um, where you would never ever realize how that could impact other people because it has no impact on you.
Right. I think we're all guilty of this. Like, I think we're all guilty of like, well, it doesn't impact me, so I'm not going to know about it. I don't really care about it. And the reality is if it's going to impact you today, something else can happen that might impact me tomorrow.
Yes.
That's similar. That's
Yeah.
that's similar. And who knows? Like you may have carved your way around it where you have a blueprint. And then if I'm not concerned about it today, but then it happens to me tomorrow, I don't know that I can come to you and be like, Amani, when this happened, how did you handle
Hmm.
this? Like this you might have a roadmap for me where I don't have to like reinvent the wheel. Like
This
I
is true.
should be concerned. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, you just said something that was bringing something up to my brains. It's funny as you're talking about this. I just keep thinking about when you and
We
I
could
were at a
always
net.
have a part 2.
I know. I was just thinking about when you and I were at that networking event and it was all women in a circle and we were talking about perimenopause and you were like, "This is my turn to leave," and I'm like, "Oh no,
Oh yes,
you're
yes.
staying, Ama."
Mhm,
That's a role reversal, right? Where
mhm.
it's like
Right.
I could talk about women stuff like all day, where you're like, Mandy, I can talk about African American, I can talk about the plight of our world
Yeah.
like all day, kind of thing. Yeah,
Well, I think that's a good place to pause,
yeah,
and we can always have part 2. But I do appreciate the questions you ask and the authentic way you want to learn, because a lot of people just ask in a surface base. But I know that's not you, so I appreciate that. And if anyone watching or listening has some people we need to add to our list of shine on that are African American, we'd love a comment. Make sure you rate and review the podcast on platforms you're watching or listening on. Don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube. And with that, we will see you next time for another mini episode.
See you next
Bye,
time.
everyone.
Expand, evolve,
Amen.
expand, everybody.
Amen.
Thank you for tuning in to Adventures in Business. Don't forget to rate and review our podcast on the platform that you're currently listening it on. And don't forget to share it with your friends and anybody that might be as much of the business nerds as Amani and I are. See you next time for another captivating interview.